Hey everyone, Dr. Foster here, the success coach with MaximumChange.com. One of the greatest fallacies that I run into is this idea that entrepreneurs have to go out and get an investor. In fact, entrepreneurs believe that the only way that they can be successful is if they have a lot of money in their hand to launch their business. And I'm going to tell you right now, that couldn't be any further from the truth than possible. And in fact, I want to share with you a little story. In 2000, I started a little business. In fact, I started that business in a 900 square foot apartment with 0 clients and 0 product, and I had about $100 to invest. Now, what I did is I took that money and I invested it in raw materials because I was producing a product, and I went out and I looked for customers that might have a use for the product I was going to sell. So I had 0 clients, $100 I invested. Now I have a product, 0 clients, and I have product. So I went out and found these clients and got some clients, and I churned it and sent it out, and they were happy, and I just built it and scaled it from there. So my point is this: in 3 years of starting that business from 0 clients, 0 products, $100 investment, I grew that to a global company. We shipped product all around the world. We were featured in Fortune magazine. We were featured in Redbook magazine, Vegan Times. Our product appeared on QVC. We were featured in numerous magazines around the world and in newspapers, all from a 0 client, 0 product position with only $100. Now, how did I get that $100? Well, it just so happens that I was working and I diverted some funds from something else into that. Now, the problem is people believe that they need to have money to get started. And the truth is, yes, you need some money, especially if you're going to create a product or service and you need some sort of raw materials or a tool or something. Yes, you're going to need that, and I get that. But you don't need to go out and get an investor. In fact, I was talking to someone earlier today, and they were saying to me, I need to go out and find investors because I have this idea and I want to take this to market, and it's very expensive. In fact, it ended up being some in the neighborhood of about $60,000 US, but in their country it was something like $3.5 million in their particular dollar. And so 60,000 US, while that's a lot of money, it isn't a lot of money for some people. But if you're in this particular country, it's a lot of money. So this person was saying, I need to go out and find investors, and I need to get this going. Now's the time to strike because the iron's hot. And I said, wait a minute. You're wanting to go get an investor, basically for them to put up $3.5 million in your currency, 60,000 US, and you want to give them 12% return on their investment, which is basically a bank loan. And I said, the problem is your investment, what you're asking them to invest in, is a long yielding product. In other words, it's going to take you 6 months to bring it to market. And so your yield is going to be long term. And so that means that you have this investor's money tied up, $3.5 million in your currency. You have that tied up for 6 months, maybe more. It could be another 6 months to even sell the product because it is an expensive product. So you have 6 months to bring it to market, and then maybe another 6 months to try to sell it. If you're lucky, you get to sell that the day that you're done with it. But here's the problem. These investors, they're going to give you all that money, and they're not going to want 12.5%. In fact, they're probably going to want 50, 60, 80, 90%. And oh, by the way, they'll give you, they may even want 100% of it, and they'll give you a paycheck. And that is not being an entrepreneur. That's being an employee for someone who has a lot of money, and all you're doing is taking them your idea, and you're testing your idea with their money, and they get all the return. So you don't need to go out and find investors all the time. Now I get it. We have these crowdsourcing deals where I want to make X product and I don't have the money to manufacture it. So I go and I do crowdfunding or crowdsourcing, and I say, if you give me $100, I'll send you this product, when it's done. And so now I'm able to fund the manufacturing of the products and have enough to take to market beyond the investors. So the other option that I floated with this person is to go get a bank loan, because there is risk there, but the risk is that all you're going to owe is the percentage rate to the bank, not to the investor. And technically, the investor is the bank, but their return on investment is the percentage rate. So they're getting paid back plus the percentage rate. So this person was thinking they were going to get a 50% return on investment. So if they put in $3 million, they're going to get another $1.5 million out of it, so $4.5 million. And I said to them, if you have an investor and they're kind to you to give you all their money for 6 months and all they want is 20% back, then you end up with not very much. You may end up with, basically what amounts to $10,000 for 6 months of work. And the thing that he wants to do is an enormous amount of work. So you actually make less money than you would have going to work and working for someone else. So bootstrap. Bootstrap is where it's at. Bootstrap and scale. Bootstrap and scale. So what I mean by that is you put $100 in, you create product or service, you sell it for $200, and you take that return on investment, take that $200, put it in, buy more product or service, go and sell that. Now you got $400, and you scale it, and pretty soon you're able to pay yourself. See, that's the other flaw in entrepreneurship. Is a lot of times we think, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to sell $1 million worth of stuff, and I'm going to have $1 million in my pocket. The problem with that is that if it cost you $900,000 to create $1 million, then you're left with $100,000. And oh, by the way, that $100,000 needs to pay for stuff like your internet and your employees and taxes and on and on and on. So by the time it's over, what is left? So you have to be careful. You need to be wise. You need to seek counsel. You have to have mentors, coaches, people that can speak into the situation, speak into your life, speak into your business in a practical and meaningful way. And hopefully you find the right person. So don't believe the lie that you have to get investors. You may need to go get a bank loan. Yes, I get that. You may need to crowdsource to fund the manufacturing of product X. I get that. You have to pay for the widget somehow. But don't believe that the only way to make money is to go out and get a lot of money from someone else. Because that someone else, honestly, they have a lot of money because they're greedy. Now, greed is not always a bad thing, but they're not going to give you your money, their money, for you to use for free. You can bet you they're going to want a majority of the lion's share. Get yourself a good coach or a mentor. I'm happy to help you. I'm Dr. Foster, the success coach with MaximumChange.com. I work with entrepreneurs, business owners, and high-profile individuals all around the world, and I'd be happy to set up a time with you. You can go to my website and just request a time to meet with me on my calendar. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.